Where were you?
Alysanne came to Dragonstone. She will open the gates of the Red Keep and surrender to me.
You cannot trust her. The king has abdicated the throne.
A new dawn is coming. A new line of unsullied kings.
You are the Queen of Dragons. You have an absolute power within your grasp.
Soon or late, Rhaenyra will send her new dragons here. It would be the end.
This is the moment you become queen.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. HBO has finally released the official House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references here. They've even been referencing some of the things that happened during House of the Dragon Season 3 later in the timeline during the Night of the Seven Kingdoms episodes, which we're in the middle of right now. We're about to get Episode 6, the finale of that, so I will talk about some of the references during Night of the Seven Kingdoms and House of the Dragon. Everybody grab your swords and prepare for some red-hot dragon-on-dragon action because the dance is finally here. There are a number of big battles that we see during the trailer, a number of big dragon fights too. Obviously, big difference from Night of the Seven Kingdoms in that they do have a lot of dragons during this part of the timeline. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer and working our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs, WTF moments, and the big battles. They start the trailer with Alysanne coming back to the Red Keep after the end of Season 2 when she snuck to Dragonstone to tell Rhaenyra that she should take the Red Keep. Aemond is going to be gone on Vhagar, so the city will be undefended, and it'll be an easy victory for her to take the Iron Throne, which is what Rhaenyra has always wanted because Alysanne had second thoughts. So many bad things had happened, so many people had died, that she just wanted to end the Dance of the Dragons before it got worse, before more people died, because she senses that it's only going to get worse, and she is 100% right on that fact. Like, she completely clocks the situation. But it seems like when she comes back to the Red Keep at first, Aemond is suspicious of her because he's suspicious of everybody and asks her, "What you been doing?" And it seems like based on later footage inside the Red Keep, like in front of this fireplace here, she tries to get him to give up, to basically abdicate the throne and give it over to Rhaenyra before there's any actual fighting, which obviously he's not going to agree to.
Soon or late, Rhaenyra will send her new dragons here. It would be the end.
She's realized that Aemond has turned into a total monster, but she's still trying to reason with him at this point. This is all Episode 1 stuff, like very early Episode 1. You also notice that Aemond is sitting on the Iron Throne and he's wielding Blackfire, the sword of the king that's passed down from Aegon the Conqueror. This is Aegon the Conqueror's sword. Blackfire has not been lost to the annals of history yet. One of the other big connections to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is that the sword Blackfire is like one of the big things involved in the Blackfire rebellions. We've been getting a bunch of Blackfire Rebellion flashbacks during that show, but for the most part, it's stuff that happens after the first Blackfire Rebellion. Maybe we'll see some actual Blackfire Rebellion fighting, some actual Daemon Blackfire at some point. But because of the multiple Blackfire rebellions over the timeline later during the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, eventually the sword Blackfire, the Valyrian sword of Aegon, winds up being lost. So this is why when you get to the events of the main show, Game of Thrones with Jon Snow and all those other characters, nobody has Blackfire anymore. The reason why Aemond has it is because he is the current sitting king. We get a really quick shot of Baela on her dragon Moondancer at the Battle of the Gullet. There are a number of scenes at the Battle of the Gullet during this trailer. That's going to happen during Episode 1. It sounds like Rhaenyra isn't going to attack King's Landing in the Red Keep to take the Iron Throne until like Episode 2, but also still early in the season, but not till after the Battle of the Gullet is done. There are going to be a number of dragons at the Battle of the Gullet too, even though you only see Moondancer and Vermax, Jace's dragon. There'll be other, like the Dragon Caesar there too. Then this is meant to be the next day after Alysanne snuck to Dragonstone to talk to Rhaenyra, so she's explaining to her small council, the Black Council, what Alysanne told her and why they should attack the Red Keep. So they're basically planning that out right now, and you see Jace next to her here. So this is before the Battle of the Gullet, when they're planning their attack for King's Landing, and Jace is trying to tell her, I don't trust her, you actually should be wary about this. Even though he's probably right to be cautious, Alysanne was being genuine. She was not trying to mislead Rhaenyra when she talked about Aemond and Vhagar being gone away from the city, so it being an easy target to take the Red Keep and the Iron Throne. Then there's a real quick shot of someone placing little dragon figurines and other figurines on a battle map here. This is from a completely separate battle, though, that they just mix in to make it seem like it's the one that she's talking about, and it's the Blacks. But it's actually a scene from the very end of the season at the Battle of Tumbleton. Notice how many dragon figurines here are at Tumbleton. That's because there are a bunch of dragons at the battle, as you would expect.
You have an absolute power within your grasp.
It is going to be the final big battle of Season 3, probably during Episode 7, because the penultimate episode is always the big battle WTF episode, and then they have the actual finale just be the regular aftermath. They're kind of doing that on Night of the Seven Kingdoms, too, even though there are only 6 episodes there. There's another scene of Alysanne going back to the Red Keep. I'm assuming this is also from the beginning of Episode 1, where she first goes back, and they're just cutting the trailer so it looks a little bit different. Then there's another scene of Daemon, not in his armor, but it looks like he's actually inside the Red Keep at this point based on the architecture behind him. This might be right after they take the Red Keep and the Iron Throne in the 2nd or 3rd episode. There's a real quick scene of the Green Army outside at a completely different battle while they're on the march. There's another scene of Larys Strong and Aegon sneaking through the woods outside of King's Landing. It seems like they ditched their cart here, and it's actually James Norton who's speaking. He's playing Ormund Hightower, the oldest son of Lord Hobart Hightower, who's the current head of the Hightower household because he's Otto Hightower's older brother. So Ormund Hightower is Alysanne's cousin and the uncle of all her children. He's leading the Green Army and also brought the Hightower forces from Old Town. Most of you have probably seen him in a bunch of other shows, like he's been in a bunch of other stuff before this. We finally get a much better shot of Daeron's dragon, Tessarion. So we're going to get Daeron during the season, finally. If it wasn't clear, Tessarion is actually a female dragon too. I'm not totally sure who's speaking when they're saying a new dawn is coming, a new line of unsullied kings. That's meant to be someone from Team Black because it's a reference to Rhaenyra and Daemon's line, like their blood, because they're not part of House Hightower, and at least some of their children are fully of Targaryen Valyrian blood. So part of the idea here is this is a dig at Alyssanne's children as being of sullied blood because they have so much Hightower blood in their veins. This is also a deep-cut reference for what happens after the Dance of the Dragons, too. We don't want to get too far ahead of the story, but because the book has been, like, Fire and Blood is out there, you can go read what happens to all these characters. Even Joffrey kind of spoils what happens to Rhaenyra during the events of the original Game of Thrones series many, many years ago. So, like, they've already kind of given away the way this all winds up, and what happens with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms also kind of gives that away, too. Without getting too deep into the story, they kind of reference this during A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but Daeron II, his children Baelor, Maekar, even Egg, his brothers, they're all from Daemon and Rhaenyra's line. Jon Snow and Daenerys come from Daemon and Rhaenyra's line. There's another shot of Ormund Hightower with the Hightower army behind him. I think this is actually meant to be at Tumbleton at the end of the season, though, because it seems like a really big battle. There's a real quick shot of Aemond and Vhagar burning people, and it seems like that Daemon has left at Harrenhal. Like, they've already come to Harrenhal to try and trick him. It's Daemon's trick so that they're away from the city, so that Rhaenyra and Daemon can take their dragons and take the Red Keep and King's Landing without having to worry about Vhagar. So part of the idea is that when they attack King's Landing, Daemon is on the other side of Westeros at Harrenhal, thinking that he's going to catch Daemon, but he's not there.
She will open the gates of the Red Keep and surrender to me.
R.I.P. to these guys that Daemon left at Harrenhal, though. They're kind of collateral damage. Then there's a real quick shot of Rhaenyra in the dark, staring at the fire, seeming really surprised by something. Mostly she seems very determined, so this might be something related to the prophecy or something that's coming after she takes King's Landing. Then they cut a scene of Daemon at what seems like the Battle of Tumbleton, like the final big battle of the season, in his armor, about to charge into battle with the Green Army against the Blacks, while he's also speaking to Rhaenyra in an earlier episode, and it seems like the speech he's giving her is hyping her up to take the Red Keep and Iron Throne, like, now is your time to strike. Basically trying to tell her that she has the decisive advantage and she should finish the war right now because she has so many more dragons than the Greens have. Like, at least at the beginning of the season, the Blacks have a decisive advantage because they have so many more dragons than the Greens have. We get another shot of the Battle of the Gullet with Corlys's fleet here. He is really broken up about something. We can't really talk about what he's broken up about because it is kind of spoilery, so we'll wait till the actual episodes to talk about that. But things do not go well for the Blacks at the Battle of the Gullet. Later on, the Maesters refer to it as the bloodiest sea battle in the history of Westeros, so it is going to be crazy. Probably part of the reason why they delayed it to season 3 because they didn't want to spend the extra money that it would have taken to do it right back during season 2. Also because of HBO's larger budget issues, this whole buyout stuff that's happening with Warner Brothers, Netflix, and Paramount. If you wonder why we lost 10 episodes a season and now there's 8 episodes a season, it's mostly because of what's happening with that buyout and them pinching everyone's purses. Not totally clear where Criston Cole is in this scene here, looking a little worse for the wear. This might be before Butcher's Ball, just because that is a big battle he's involved with. We can't talk too much about that, but he will eventually get his comeuppance. But I love the overhead shot of him inside the dragon's foot here. I believe the dragon's foot is actually meant to be a Vhagar. But at least the way they cut the scene, they make it seem like it's Daemon and Caraxes, but Caraxes' foot isn't that big. Then I believe this shot of all the guards pulling their swords inside the throne room is the Blacks, Rhaenyra, Daemon taking the actual Red Keep. Like this is Daemon marching in because there are a couple later scenes of him fighting some of the guards inside the actual throne room. Early theory, this is probably from episode 2, maybe episode 3, but I'm guessing it happens pretty early in the season, so I think episode 2. Then there's a montage of a couple different battle scenes, the Battle of the Gullet, which is episode 1. Then there's a battle in what seems like outside of Tumbleton with the Starks, a bunch of other Rhaenyra's forces running into battle with the Greens. Back to another shot of the Battle of the Gullet near the bay. There's another shot of them fighting inland. This might be at Tumbleton or near Tumbleton. Then this shot is Daemon fighting inside the throne room against the guards. When Alysanne is talking to Aemond in front of the fireplace, like I said, this is still inside the Red Keep early in episode 1 before he takes Vhagar to Harrenhal, thinking that he's going to catch Daemon unawares. But at least Alysanne is trying to get him to back off before things get worse, which obviously he doesn't listen to. She also references Rhaenyra's new dragons. She's also talking about the dragon seeds because Aemond saw those at the end of season 2. Like, oh crap, you've activated all your extra nuclear weapons. There are way more dragons than I expected. There's a real quick shot of Rhaenyra at night looking in the sky with her forces behind her, but it looks like this might still be a Dragonstone, or it could be after she comes to the Red Keep, so I'm guessing it's early episodes still. We get a real quick shot of Jace on Vermax at the Battle of the Gullet, where he Dracarys somebody. Then there are a couple of scenes of Rhaenyra banging on a door. This is actually still a Dragonstone. You can tell by the stonework, the architecture behind her, she's at Dragonstone banging on someone's door. Not clear whose door it is, though. Then there's a real quick shot of Criston Cole fighting someone. I'm guessing that this is at the Butcher's Ball if they don't let him to survive till the Battle of Tumbleton. Then we get a real quick shot of Aegon looking into the sky, all surprised. This might be confirmation that Sunfire survived, so he might be seeing it just being super surprised. Like, oh, you're still alive, this is amazing. Maybe I still have a chance if you're still alive. The reason why I say that is because there was a big controversy during season 2 because Criston Cole made it sound like Sunfire had died and they were going to change the books. In the books, Sunfire does survive and it's critical to the way the end of the Dance of the Dragons goes down. So it sounds like they are being book accurate in that sense. Maybe if that's what's happening during this scene of Aegon. There's a real quick shot of Corlys looking all horrified up in the sky. He's probably looking at dragons. Something really bad has happened because things go very badly for the Blacks here during the Battle of the Gullet, remember. Not totally sure why Alysanne is horrified here. Maybe something that Aemond does, something that she hears about, but she's still at the Red Keep when this is happening. Then it seems like there's a real quick shot of Daemon in King's Landing with dragonfire lighting up the street behind him. This is when they're making their attack on the Red Keep to take the Iron Throne Room. When he says, this is the moment you become queen, this is when he's still trying to hype her up to take the Iron Throne. Like, now is the time to actually strike because Aemond is gone with Vhagar. But they're also cutting it with a scene of her at Dragonstone before she's left on her dragon with Daemon to take the Red Keep, and she's just gotten really bad news. We can't really talk about what's happening here because it literally happens in episode 1, so you won't have to wait that long to actually find out why she's crying. But things do not go well for her in general at the Battle of the Gullet. Then the really big reminder is that the season is starting in June, probably around the same time that season 2 episodes started. So thankfully, we don't have to wait that long for more Game of Thrones after Night of the Seven Kingdoms, because that finale is happening this Sunday. There's a lot to unpack here, so everyone post all your reactions in the comments below. And if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write it below in the comments. The really big reminder is that my Night of the Seven Kingdoms finale video will post this Sunday night after they release it. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Also do some bonus videos, and we'll start getting more footage for House of the Dragon Season 3, just because they were waiting for the end of Night of the Seven Kingdoms to actually start pushing House of the Dragon Season 3. Thankfully, we don't have to wait that long to actually get House of the Dragon episodes, and the other big reminder is that Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2 is going to premiere next year in 2027. I am also in the middle of making a video for that Game of Thrones announcement for the Mad King stage play that they're doing for the tourney at Harrenhal. That's right, we're finally getting some Robert's Rebellion adjacent tourney at Harrenhal stuff, but it's going to start as a stage play on the West End in London, so everybody start buying your tickets to go fly to London so you can actually see this. I'll try to post my video for that in the next day or two. Everybody click here for my Night of the Seven Kingdoms Episode 6 finale video, and click here for all my House of the Dragon episodes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.